Good evening, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is David Okon. Thank you so much for your support so far and for attending to this channel. If you haven't subscribe this YouTube channel. Click like, click notification bell, let me know your thought, and thank you so much. We are in summer in the United Kingdom. The United Kingdom is in Europe, as you may well know, and Europe is actually in Europe, and you have the Britain, you have the United Kingdom, Great Britain, you have England, Wales, Northern Ireland, and Scotland forming the United Kingdom. And so we are so delighted celebrating the season of Easter. And I'm so happy that you came today as we walk about to experience the majesty of God and also the providence of the Mother Earth. I am so happy that you came. I am so delighted that we are in summer. And I've been doing this series, remembering the good things and the not so good things in life. During summer, the sun is shining. It is bright. The sky is blue. People are traveling, flying in airplanes, and going places, enjoying what life, the whole surface, and celebrating every element of existence. The building, the technology, and the natural provision, society, natural and artificial infrastructure produced by mankind and given by nature, and so many creativity, so much evidence of how we the people conduct our society, how we use technology, motoring, transportation, and all sorts of good things, the wealth, the health of the world, and the continuity, the cycle of life. You go from one place to another, people traveling and people visiting places of interest, and blue skies, people mixing and mingling in all situations, and that is the whole point about life, the whole point about our existence, all point about our celebration. And today we come again to share this experience. Leave a comment below. Let me know what your thoughts are about summer. Summer is when the sun is shining, when the rain also rains, and it is hot here in the United Kingdom. And in Europe and in America, summer is extremely hot. In Africa, it is almost hot all the time. In the tropics, if you understand your regional geography, and other types of geography, maybe the physicality of the world, the earth, and the planets, all the relationships, the providence of nature, flying in the sky, with the things we are creating, natural things, flying, flying in the space, sitting back, enjoying what nature provide, what society provide. We celebrate seasons, we celebrate nature, and we are so humbled by the providence of our existence in the cycle of our life. And as we walk on the path of life, as we allow the natural light to shine and also the artificial light to shine around, everything is good, everything is unique. A lot of things are challenging. There is wealth, there is health, there is affluence in the West, the Western world, in the Eastern world, in Asia, in the West, in Africa, the state, the public sector, the private sector. We mention these things because if you look, watching my previous videos and watching this, I have been talking about the system, how the politics operates, how the technology function, how society works, and how we observe the times, how we experience one thing or another, our health, our wealth, everything come together in terms of celebration. And the whole point about this exercise is to appreciate and also to celebrate our lives, whether politics, whether technology, economy, whether our lives, whether our development and progress, whether our communities, individual families, societies, everything. Life is all about celebration. It's about holiday. It's about people relaxing, mixing and mingling, and walking on the streets, as you see in this picture, which I took here in London. And if you know this area in London, if you know at least spots of this ground where you can see airplane in the background. If you comment below, let me know what you think, where you think this place is. This is a picture I took from a source which is not really in England, but it is also reflect the similarity of what happens in England. It is cloudy, the sky is outcast. It's probably going to rain here, but if you compare this environment with what you find in the United Kingdom here in summer, this is in Africa where the airplane is flying, and it's comparable to what you see in London. But in winter in Europe, in the temperate region, it's a totally different story. And you don't really compare the two. It's like contrasting one thing from one world with another, which are so disparate, they're so different, and yet they are so similar. The underlying factor in all these categories is humanity. I have spoken over and again. My interest centers on people and places. Humanity is the defining factor of our life, because without people, our lives are empty. Our lives are irrelevant. Relationships with family, with friends, with communities, people is the essence of our existence. Anything less, anything more is irrelevant, because we create wealth. We provide for our families food, energy, shelter, healthcare, as in a modern society. As you can see here, people are so relaxed. They are enjoying the summer, the sun, and the atmosphere is brilliant. I've been here before, and I have used this template. I'm using this template again because I'm recording this voice to try add value to this experience. And leave a comment below, let me know your thoughts, and if you think this is a brilliant process and experience, let me know. Because after our wonderful summertime in the United Kingdom, we are entering the stage known as autumn. As I speak now, we are on the verge of autumn, where school children and also adults go back to school. People are returning from holidays. They go back to do their work, and after autumn, we will enter into something called winter. If you live in Africa, your idea of winter is probably different from what our idea of winter is in the United Kingdom. But I'm saying this because underneath my message centers on people and on the safety, on the welfare, and on the security of the people, good security, income issue, welfare issue, and also investment issue, wealth creation, the system of politics, the system of economics, the system of social welfare, of technology, and all bits and pieces we have to make society what it is. And I'm so delighted that I have been privileged to share this opportunity with you guys. Leave a comment below, let me know what your thoughts are, and I will be delighted to continue on this discourse. If you watch this video, watch alongside the rest of the video previously recorded on this platform. And like I said previously, I've always been speaking about the cost of living crisis. The cost of living crisis came the way it did, and it did the damage that it did, and we have been talking about it again and again. And every topic involving my program on YouTube is revolving around the cost of living crisis, because it's at the heart of the way people live, the way people relate, the way people settle. And if you speak to individuals, sometimes speaking to young people, sometimes speaking to adults, sometimes people get so desperate, sometimes people get so miserable, and yet in the midst of turmoils, in the midst of conflict, in the midst of warfare, sit alongside all these factors, a sense of peace, a sense of orderliness. We operate in the modern world, in the world, under the rule of law. And if you regard my speaking, it is random, it is unscripted, and leave a comment below. Let me know your thoughts about this approach, and it is something I so choose to do by way of exercising creativity and also trying to structure things here and there. But I've been talking for so long about the cost of living crisis, linking the same with the system, which is a derivative of laws, is a derivative of government policy here in the UK. In particular, we set laws in Parliament. If you know anything about Parliament, let me know. If you don't know anything about Parliament, let me know. It's a constitutional function. It's a constitutional infrastructure, which is part of the state. In Parliament, you make laws and policies, and the law is applied by the courts. The court is also part of the state as a branch, although in terms of constitutional argument and commentary, Parliament is independent of the other factors of government, which is the executive, which is where you find ministers and chief ministers, also known as prime minister. They form what is the branches of the state. The executive, which is government, like I said, you have the prime minister at the apex of society with immense global and local power. The British Prime Minister has the capacity to take Britain to war. War in a developed world and also in developed world is a very powerful factor. Such that you don't go to wars lightly. And yet here, one man or woman in the form of Prime Minister has the capacity to take Britain into war. Parliament is sovereign. That means Britain, with Parliament, can do anything. They did almost anything, removing Britain away from Europe, from the European Union. For me, that was actually a test of the sovereignty of Parliament. I did not for a moment believe that there would come a time for Britain to leave the European Union. But Britain left Europe because of Parliament. That is evidencing of the immense power of Parliament. I speak of Parliament because that's where everything begins. Whether you are on the road, whether you are in your bed, whether you're on the street, whether you're in the park, the law of the land stipulates whatever you need to do, everything you do, whatever you do, however you do it, it is controlled by the law of the land, which is set by Westminster, where Parliament and government sits. And we are so delighted and privileged to have a system which works, and a system which provides at the bare minimum of a sense of peace and tranquility, a sense of order. You cannot exchange the rule of law with anything. When I say the rule of law, you're talking about the police on the street, talk about the military in their barracks, which deal with foreign threats and to a certain extent domestic challenges in terms of security, national security. But there is a type of security I'm beginning to gain interest in, the cyber security element of society, because as you may well be aware, we are moving from the normal way of life, we are going cybernetic. You probably know if you know what cybernetic is. I don't know what it is, but watching movies and reading, information from websites, I have one clue or another about cybernetics, but I don't really know what you call it. Let me know what cybernetics is, but I think it's got to do with cyber world, cyber relations. What happens with the internet? What happens with technology? What happens with every factor of society? We are moving to a digitized world, into a digitized age. So we exercise our minds and our soul and our spirit are exercised trying to make sense of what is society. And I have already said it many times, and I repeat it over and over, that at the bottom of everything, in what you see and in what you don't see, in your home, in your courtyard, in your backyard, on your streets, at the hospital, schools, in the different category of infrastructure, whether it is summer, whether it is a different type of season, like you find in the temperate region. The temperate region, you have, let's start with summer. After summer, autumn. After autumn, you get winter. Winter is the best, and it is also the worst because it is so cold, extremely cold. Winter is so cold, but it is so calm. There are turbulences with winds and rains from time to time, lightning, but there is a type of calm and equanimity involving winter. It is brilliant, bitterly cold with winds. On bad days, on some days you get snow, which is very beautiful, white snow and beautiful sky, clear sky, but you hardly see the sun, and you wait for spring to bring the sun all over again. After spring, which is mild weather, a bit of cold, a bit of warm, a lot of sunshine, but a lot of rain probably also if you're lucky. And if you are unlucky, then you get something really colder than you should have during spring. Spring is so beautiful, full of flowers. Life is coming alive, and we begin to celebrate new things. The circle of life coming into operation, if you like. So my choosing of contextualizing this conversation around seasons, around weather, around activities on the street, different one type of life, people going into shopping, people walking, say looking around. Just maybe if you are driving, you are probably driving around, probably going to the shop, probably just looking around, enjoying life, driving around or walking around, going to the park, going onto the street, like I said previously. It's something I intended to do this year, but we are coming toward the end of the summer, and it seemed to me that I probably will intentionally try to go more out and really take videos of the outside spaces more, because if you watch the rest of my video, I've been indoors talking about it's fairly complicated topics to do with politics and laws and things to do with poverty, things to do with welfare, which I from time to time make reference, because whether you're going on holiday, whether you're going out, whether you're driving, whether you're flying on a plane, whether you're lying down in the park and enjoying sunshine, whether you are at the beach, in a hotel, in a restaurant, doing holidaying, which is what most people do, having drinks with family and friends, dinners, visits, birthdays, celebration, or even if the occasion does not demand, if the occasion doesn't demand, you may also attend funerals, which is a certain aspect of people gathering together and mourning their dead, and also celebrating the life of their families. And all the more during summer, there is brightness, there is light, there is optimism, there is health, more than during the other season, because this is a time where when people are so relaxed, most people are on holiday and taking time of their labors. And we live in a world where people have to work for a living, and if you don't work for a living, you cannot survive, because if you are to succeed, you have to work. And that is what people do. They work during the rest of the season, but mostly in summer, people are on holiday from their works. A lot of people also work, and maybe they get paid more, maybe they don't get paid more. Maybe employers are so smart or so efficient that they manage their staff such that taking holidays are done in turns. There are people who would be kept to run the businesses, because you see, here in the United Kingdom and across the globe, increasingly more so, the economy has been privatized. Privatization means the government, the state, has told of the public sector, because in the beginning there was the private entrepreneurship before the system developed into a centralized system of the state. When the state began, it began like a fledgling organization, like a fledgling community. Maybe families coming together in villages and beginning process of exchange, barter trade. Then we invented money, including cash. Then the mode of exchange changed from barter. Barter trade simply means if I have a pair of glass and you have a jacket, a pair of jacket, then I give you my glasses, you give me your pair of jacket. I give you my shoe, you give me your drink. I give you my food, you give me your alcohol. If I drink alcohol, that is actually barter trading. That's how it all began. People were moving around, people were trading, people began to doing business, people became creative. Some aspect of society was less peaceful than we would like to remember, because if you look at the Wild West equivalents of society, where there were robbers, train robberies, violence, killing, piracy at sea, slavery, slave trade, and stealing humans from one territory to another. This is the behavior of people from the beginning. People were always raiding other weaker ones. In the society, we live in a type of jungle. If you are weak, you are going to be devoured. This started from the beginning. And we continue to do this in the modern world. We still invade other countries. If you think about the Middle East, why Israel is fighting with Hamas in the Middle East, in Ukraine, why they are fighting, one way or the other, they are doing what they have always done from the beginning. The world wars, before the world wars, the conflict involving Italians, involving the Greeks, the Arabs, conflict involving Africa, conflict involving other parts of the world, people have always fought. They fight over resources, they fight over territories, they fight to access power, they fight to do different things, they use different mode of operations to fight. And it seems to me fighting is part and parcel of our life. And yet, it is quite clear that to survive as a species, we need to now ease back from the brink, from our behavior of a tendency to fight one another and do what we do best, to live peacefully, to live agreeably, to love one another, essentially. To focus on the best that is humanity. Look at what we have other than what we don't have, because you see, we can focus on what we lack or what we don't have, when we could do well to concentrate on what we have and work with what we have to build a better world, where we build society where we are safe, where we prosper, where we are happy. We live in harmony with one with another, in an environment which is conducive, in a world which is peaceful. And leave a comment below if this is your aim. Then your thoughts are my thoughts. Then we are happy together to figure out what we need to do as a species to survive and go beyond survival and begin to do what needs to be done in terms of settlement, in terms of providing housing, for example, a system of the economy, which system we kind of try to understand, try to address issues of prosperity, trying to address the deeper issue of society, looking at the wider picture, looking at also the microcosm of what form our society. This is where we have been with this program. We have been talking about this, exercising our minds and also operating our intellects to ask questions, to give answers. So what is available is to do with what we have and what we might not have. So we normally talk about the factors of production. We talk about money, talk about investment, talk about the economic system, which something I have repeatedly referred to, because this underlies our life. We normally generate ideas. We are constantly thinking, bringing in new ideas. How we live our lives, how we work, how we reach out. That is the routine. That is the essence of our living. Whether you're young, whether you're an adult. And this is what I have gone through this program, exercising my mind. We are learners, we are students. If you live in a world where you no longer learn, whether by reading books, whether you go online, watch videos, whether you mix with other people and experience life and learn real time at nightclubs, in the marketplaces, your focus is to learn something. And then you gain the knowledge, the wisdom and the understanding. You use that as a resources, intellectual property, intellectual resources, which is what now we need in our modern society, which underpins this operation of YouTubing, using technology, the internet. This is where we are heading. technological age, the digital age. This is the product of our enterprises, the product of our history, of our estates, of our culture and customs. As we move along, as we take time, such as we find in summer, we stop and we take time away from our daily routines. Then we meet friends, we meet our families, sometimes we meet strangers. We go to nightclubs, meet friends, maybe families as well. Perhaps we meet more with strangers. Strangers is a type of language we have developed in big cities, in various economies. And yet, we are a family. We are a type of species. We are humanity. We are people. And we keep moving. We keep focusing on one thing or another. And this is the kind of thing I have been exploring. I have had the privilege and opportunity to use this platform to exercise this mental exploration, talk about different topics and contextualizing them in 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 areas. But in the overall, we now begin to talk about progress, making progress, doing development in the developmental economy, doing culture in the cultural economy. And so as we move along our summertime, doing holiday, taking a break, praying, playing, sometimes even working, and playing again, and praying again, and going to church, going to work, going to different places to drink, places to do discourse, clubbing, meetings, conferences. The wealth, the richness of our society is a point of celebration. If you comment below and let me know your thought about life, about summer in the United Kingdom, about summer in the world. In the United Kingdom, summertime, so many tourists. If you know how many tourists visit the UK, especially London, leave a comment below. But I know London is a leading site destination for tourism. The same everywhere. We are going global. We have discussed globalization in different places, but we all come back to say one thing or another: that we work, we rest, we learn, we improve, and we rest, and then we move a little more. We pick topics, we pick subjects and concentrate and focus on it and become specialists. We become experts, we develop expertise by focusing in a particular area. We develop an estate of technocrats. In the regime of technocracy, specialism, we specialize in medicine, we in housing, in architecture, engineering, environmental protection, maintaining clean air, clean spaces, traders, small and medium traders, big business, big corporation, people who work for somebody, employees, workers, volunteers, as in the third social sector, whether you are in the public or the private sector. Business is always business. There are people who operate it. And yet, we are at the crossroad now where our society is fast shifting. We are changing from man-based workforces. We are crossing over into a technological age where technology, road technology, space technology, field technology, air technology, you name it, medical technology, architectural technology, food technology, internet, websites. This is the language and the practices we now operate to do development. More and more people are going to be freer and freer from work, especially from the next generation and in the next 50 to 100 years. We will face a situation where technology takes over. Literally. 3D printers, nanotechnology, robotics, artificial intelligence. These are the main ones. They're taking over from human workforce to operate trade and industry and commerce, to operate medicine, to operate learning, to operate building, architecture, to explore places and spaces, to roam the earth, and to venture into the space, go underwater, use factors of the earth, the light, the wind, the earth, trees, natural resources, biotech, pharmaceuticals, chemical production. The list is endless. Then you become specialists, focusing on areas, narrowing down, becoming better humans in terms of production, in terms of performance, in terms of development. And this is the kind of conversation I've been conducting. Leave a comment below, let me know your thoughts. If you like it, if you don't like it, if you think it is the real world, if you think it is fantasy, so be it. Fantasy is part of our world. It's where we play the most when we are fantasizing. We play and we pray also. Why not? I believe in God. I'm a Christian. I pray. I don't like praying simply because I don't really like talking. But somewhere along the line, somebody has to say something. Somewhere along the line, somebody has to pray to God. Whether you like reading, whether you like writing, somewhere, somehow, we need to be self-sufficient. Being able to read, being able to write, being able to speak, being able to run, to do exercise, to climb mountains, to climb, to jump from the sky in a parachute, to fly in airplanes, to do different things, to celebrate the wealth of our life. And that's why I've been carrying out this exercise to do a conversation about our lives, illustrating our lives, illustrating this topic, illustrating this theme through the context of climate, of season, of weather, as in the summer, just like I've been talking about summer, and also to demonstrate the connectedness between everything, the value we assign to every element of our life. It doesn't matter how seemingly significant such elements might be. A lot of the time, for example, if we visit nature, we can find 90% of the things occurring in nature. Maybe the trees, shrubs, maybe butterflies, different species, insects, big animals, small animals. We think we know these things, but we probably only know 1%. To name them, even to know their value. We are probably sitting on medicines, or medicine for cancer, medicine for even mortality. Maybe it is on the trees. See, maybe these medicines are in nature, maybe in water, maybe on the rocks. We only have to discover, to know the value of our worlds, regardless. And this is the basis of my program, talking about life generally, but I can also have the privilege to speak on specifics, such as I did speaking about the cost of living crisis in the other videos, which cost of living crisis I will continue to talk about. But from time to time, I take time to talk about general things, like I'm doing now, talking about life as we know it, participating, giving our thoughts, and if you comment below, let me know what you think. And this is the whole process, and it is a privilege that I've been able to do this, and carrying on with it, us join hands together and celebrate what is life. And this is our life as we move along the path of our existence. We think, we learn. Like I said, we learn from one another, we learn from ourselves, we learn from our experience. We focus on one thing or another, and we become experts. We develop passion. You see, we acquire power if we have the expertise over one thing or another. And this is a rare way of looking at life. But that is, for me, that is a good thing. And it is there to challenge our thoughts. It is there to challenge our preconceptions. It is there to challenge what we normally take for granted in our society, as in the built-up estates. But also, as we look at life, as we listen to different sounds from every source, from every aspect, from animals, from birds, from vehicles, from planes in the sky, from rivers, from waterfalls, from animals under the sea, above the air, around the ground where we walk, where we live, the richness, the wealth of our society, the building of our society, the inheritance that we get and the one to live as an estate. And these are the kind of things I'm talking about how we do development, because we are workers. They say, but we are also players. We talk, we have a laugh with one another. We have fun. We visit our family and friends. We give gifts. You see, but in the end, if we are to be successful, we are to be workers. We are supposed to work. And if you go somewhere and they say we want to be successful but we are not going to work, you have to move on and find another community where people understand how success is achieved. Because as a species, to succeed is to live long as a species. We know we grow old and die, but death is only the beginning of a chapter. As a Christian, I live in life after death. As a normal human being, even at the scientific equivalence, I know a little bit that there are scientists. I keep saying this all the time. There are scientists doing research. Let us speak. I keep thinking I have to do proper research and talk about this research. Research about aging. Research about slowing down aging. Stopping aging. Reversing aging. Research about immortality. Bringing back life. Bringing back the dead into life. These are reality. They used to be fiction. In many ways, they are still fiction. But it is happening. There are changes, and researchers are secretive. If you see on a platform like the BBC, I like listening to BBC Radio 4. Especially when I'm driving, I like listening to the BBC Radio 4. And also documentaries on the TV, on the internet, wherever you watch one thing or another, or YouTube, you get a lot of information. Some of them are fake news, a lot of them are actually true. Imagine a world where we use technology. We use nanotechnology, for example, to promote medicine. Treating cancer, curing cancer, curing even aging, curing even mortality itself. There is something called regeneration. Regeneration is so important that you chop your hands off, it grows back. It is fiction, but it is also fact. Technology is a source of hope. And I've been talking about this, sharing it is with family and friends. To talk about technology. Technology is fantastic. It answers everything. Almost every question, because education is the other area of answering questions. Because technology is the heart of our development. But our culture is the primary source of our education as people. Human education, human learning, learning about humanity, producing respect, valuing one another. These are the things we get to grip with, and this is a formula we have not discovered, and it is the clues we have ignored. It is the premise we have really absconded. We have skipped the element of people, so that we have the police, we have the court of law, we have the military, we have the emergency service to try and help as much as possible to fill in the gap. But those functions are on the developmental factor, or the developmental sector of our program. When we talk about our culture, we talk about identifying the truth of life, the truth about life. What is the truth? You and I is the truth. Once you discover the truth, sky is the limit. This, in my view, I have said it over and over. This, in my view, is the key to success in terms of peace. Because everything we don't do because of peace. Because the only way to be happy is to achieve peace. And if you go to America, you go to Europe, you come to Europe where I am, you go to Asia, in Africa, and in other parts of the world, people's number one priority is peace. Peace is achieved by development to a lesser extent, but it is achieved primarily by culture. The learning of people, the understanding of who we are, the understanding of the truth. Because at every truth, at every existence, humanity is at the top of the food chain. In the first instant, in the second, they are the essence of existence. Because life is irrelevant without people. We come to think about it. Some people are waiting for the aliens. We don't know who they are, if they exist, if they don't exist. Who are the aliens? What are they going to come here to do? We see them in fictional movies. What else do we see? We see different things in different places. We tell folk stories, fantasy, in tradition, oral traditions. We explore, we exercise our imagination, but when it comes to it, we are the ones. People and people and people. Somebody said somewhere else, education, education, education. Some people say economy, yes. These are development. But there is a type of learning to do with looking at what we mean by being human. This is what I refer to as the cultural economy, which is the other arm of development, of progress. The other arm of development. Development plus culture equals progress, which is what underlines our society, our own molding of our essence, of our future, of our society. That is what we do. That is who we are. We value our life as of number one priority. We value our life. We give respect. If you value something, you respect that same thing. Men will not abuse women. Women will not abuse men. Bosses will not abuse employees. Employees will not abuse employers. The self-employed will not abuse their trade. To sell faulty products, to practice corruption, we develop more relevant ideas. We begin to be more idealistic, as in part of reality. Idealism becomes our reality. And this is the prospect, beginning from this conversation at the front of cultural economy. Because we have done so well developmentally. We drive cars, we drive planes, we have medicine. If we want to use our medicine as effectively as we should, we would have dealt with a lot of diseases. It's nearly enough as to use what we have to solve problems we would have solved. As many problems as they arise. But now we are lagging behind because we are focusing on development and ignoring our culture. We need our culture first and our development next. Now that we are ahead developmentally, we now need to focus on our culture at the same time as carrying on with our development, developing technology and doing science, moving forward. Our culture is the one which will inject our development to cure it, to produce peace. This cure begins from our realizing that we are the ones. We are the number one in valuing ourselves in the first place and valuing our environment. Things we have, things we may not have, but our valuing is the number one. And I have repeated this many times. And you can't know if you think I'm getting better at repeating it or getting worse in repeating it. I see this as an opportunity to talk about humanity. Because we don't pay close attention to humanity. There are young people on the streets of London, of the UK, contemplating suicide. Why should a teenager try to kill themselves? It is not normal. Something is broken about our society. We cannot rely on the police. We cannot rely on the accident and emergency. We cannot rely on fire, the military, on any mode of our society. We have to rely on ourselves. We are the ones. We are the beginning and the end, if there is the end. But you see, the sky is the limit. When we, the people, begin to become human, and we have argued this case, and we have succeeded, and we have been right all along. Regardless what we say, regardless what we did not say, we became right. We began to do what is right. We then began to prioritize on our humanity. We began to value our life. We began to value people. We became better. We became more civil. Because we learned something special. We learned that we are people. Why should a young person kill themselves because of homelessness? In Britain, the sixth richest country in the world, this country swims in money. It swims in wealth. Our culture has gone wrong. And that is why we find people on the street more and more, especially now. My understanding, if it is correct, then we have now abolished the law of vagrancy. The law of vagrancy is about people who are walking around the street aimlessly. Theoretically, within the jurisdiction of involving vagrancy law, the police should be able to arrest somebody who is loitering aimlessly. But we have got rid of that law, if my record is correct. Because with the law, you have to really be up to date. But that is my understanding. I haven't actually do that study of it. So if somebody break into your home now to squat in it, it is almost the case that the police will not be able to evict them. So if you have a home, make sure you have the strongest possible law, so that squatters, people who are on the street, people who are sometimes on drugs, and some of the most dangerous people are on the street. They are moving with their hands open, begging. They are poor. The street as a culture is a culture of poverty. It's a culture of neglect. It's a culture of abomination. A culture of cultural failure in a country like Britain, which is a signatory of the global democracy, a signatory of global capitalism, with the city of London and the effect of the financial infrastructure, financial empire of the globe, raised at the heart of England, at the heart of London here in the UK. The UK is a global leader in global finance. I venture to say that it may not be official, but all the facts point to the direction of London as a metropolis. You see, London is at the heart of global finance. I venture to say that we are on the verge of that if already, if we are not yet already leading the globe in terms of global financing. Global financing is the heart of capitalism, global capitalism. Without financing, the world comes to a standstill in terms of development and also in terms of culture, because we depend on what we have, what we get from the land, what we get from the shops, what we get from the hospital, from schools, what we get from airplanes, from vehicles, the shopping center. All these are actually resources on which we depend. And this is important. And I'm glad I had the opportunity to speak about our cultural economy, because the answer to a lot of problems. Crime should not be on the street or elsewhere. Because on the street we have our banks, we have our supermarkets, we have our rooms or displaying our cars. Our wealth and our health resides on the street. The street should be clean. The street should be secure. The street should be well off. To feed us, to support us, we build our world to house our existence, to entertain, to celebrate, to live with one another, to be happy, to live in harmony, peacefully. We cannot do that with the type of injustice we experience, with the type of injustice we have, which the government has tried and fail to solve. And therefore, in as much as we wait upon the government to solve our problem, I believe it is time now for us to take responsibility for our life and begin to learn our cultural system, our cultural providence, our cultural essence. To learn the same, to begin to apply the same on a daily basis, to begin to walk on the path of righteousness, to begin to rediscover our strength, the power that we have as individuals. Even the more together we become, the more power we acquire. We use this power to protect our individuality, to preserve our connectivity, to organize resources around us as the center of the universe. And we have the right to claim our heritage of humanity. Because if we begin to value our life, we don't talk about suicide. Young people are literally contemplating suicide. They are actually carrying it out. They take drugs. This is like living dangerously. It's a proclamation, if you like, of death wish. Young people, our young boys and girls are wishing death. This is a product of human wrong. In Britain, in America, in China, in Russia, in Ukraine, in the Middle East, in Israel, in Africa, every government, every element of the state must prioritize people. It doesn't matter how insane you have become. If there is a modicum, a scintilla of humanity left within your soul, stop what you're doing now and remember your priority. Remember where you came from the mother, from the womb of your mother. Your mother suffered. It doesn't matter if you are King Charles. Remember your mother, the Queen. Remember what she went through to bring you into life. Remember your late father, Prince Philip. Remember the sacrifice they made to raise you up as your child. The love. Extend that love to your family, to Prince William, to Prince Harry, to all the other children, to your siblings, to this country, to Britain, your homeland, your motherland. And as the big people, the leaders, the prime minister, the minister, the members of parliament, the top lawyers, doctors, engineers, all the technocrats, the multimillionaires and multi-billionaires, as you walk along the path of progress, remember the people with whom you live, the people you employ, the abuse they receive, the low pay, the negligence, the human wrong. This is a product of a failure of culture. There is nothing right paying people less than they should get. There is nothing novel about poverty. And that is what created the cost of living crisis. Because as we sell away the public sector, we remain with the private sector. And as we corporatize, we grow into bigger corporations. We shut them down because we want to produce something called economic efficiency. We become cutters by nickname. Cutters, we cut here, we cut there. In the past, we thought we used to cut public sector because they were wasteful. Now we are cutting the private sector because they are also wasteful. Waste is defined in terms of people not having money to buy goods and services. Trade fails because the vision is blurred. The vision is convoluted by corruption. Corruption produced by failure of culture. So we are now required, we are called upon to rediscover our cultural economy. and purify our hearts, renew our minds, strengthen our souls, and walk upright, doing what is right, going in the right direction, making progress, avoiding evil, producing righteousness by revisiting our roots, discovering who we are. We are the people of this world. We deserve a place in the sun. We deserve a place under the earth. We deserve a place in the heavens. We are the people. We are number one. We are the best. We do not get a better life than with humanity. We are number one. We are the best. We are the resources. We are the only source of peace, joy, and happiness. If we abuse humanity, we go wrong. We become slaves. We are supposed to be masters of our destinies. And we conquer. And we walk upright. We look to the sun. We look to the heritage, to the estate, to the power, the kingdom of humanity, to the love, the power, to the strength, to our peace. As we go forward toward the end of this year, we look forward to ending this year and rising again with the new world, with the new season, rising again to celebrate our estate, to proclaim our roots, to examine ourselves, and put a big smile on our faces. Thank you so much for coming today. I see you in the next video. If you haven't subscribed to this YouTube channel. Leave a comment below. Click notification bell. Share with family and friends. Thank you so much. I love you so much. Thank you. Bye-bye. Good evening. Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is David Opon. Thank you so much for your support so far and for attending to this channel. If you haven't subscribed to this YouTube channel. Click like, click notification bell. Let me know your thoughts and thank you so much. We are in summer in the United Kingdom. United Kingdom is in Europe, as you may well know, and Europe is